Have you ever wanted to make a holiday treat that instantly transports you to cozy winter nights, sipping on a warm glass of eggnog by the fire? Well, today I've got something that's going to tickle your taste buds and impress your holiday guests. Eggnog fudge. Yes, you heard that right. It's rich, creamy, and has all the flavors of that classic holiday drink, but in fudge form. But let me warn you, it's dangerously addictive, so proceed with caution. You might just find yourself sneaking piece after piece from the fridge. So grab your spatulas and let's dive into this sweet, festive recipe. But before we get started, here's a little tip. Prepare yourself for the irresistible scent of eggnog wafting through your kitchen. I am Arina, and welcome to my channel. Here, I share my favorite recipes and tips to help make your dishes look just as amazing as they taste, right from my kitchen to yours. If you're looking for any of the tools or other recipes I mention, you'll find the links in the description below. Let's get started. You'll need a saucepan filled with water, about a third full, and bring it to a simmer before placing a large glass or metal bowl on top. This is our makeshift double boiler, perfect for melting everything evenly without scorching. Fun fact, if your bowl touches the water, things can get a little messy, so make sure to keep an eye on that. If you're not familiar with this method, I've got another video where I show you exactly how to set up a double boiler. Be sure to check it out. Now comes the fun part. First, add 3 cups of white chocolate chips to the bowl. These will give our fudge that creamy, melt-in-your-mouth texture. Next, add 1/4 cup of unsalted butter at room temperature. It's important that the butter is at room temperature, so it melts evenly into the mixture without creating any lumps. For an extra festive touch, add 1/4 cup of eggnog to the mixture. The eggnog brings a rich, creamy flavor and adds that perfect holiday vibe to the fudge. Then, pour in half a can, 6 ounces, of sweetened condensed milk, also at room temperature. Using room temperature condensed milk ensures everything blends together smoothly and prevents the mixture from seizing up while it melts. As everything starts melting together, I use my trusty silicone spatula to gently stir the mixture. I love using a silicone spatula because it's flexible enough to scrape down the sides and corners of the bowl, making sure no bits of chocolate or butter are left behind. Plus, it's heat resistant, so I don't have to worry about it melting while working over the double boiler. I keep stirring consistently, ensuring the ingredients melt evenly into a smooth, velvety fudge base. One of my favorite things about making fudge during the holidays is gifting it. I love to prepare a variety of fudge flavors, from classic chocolate to festive ones like this pumpkin spice or eggnog fudge, and package them all in a beautiful box. It makes for such a thoughtful, homemade gift that friends and family always appreciate. A box of different fudge flavors is a sweet surprise, and it shows you've put in the extra effort to make their holiday season a little more special. once everything's melted and smooth, it's time to add the final ingredients. First, I stir in half a cup of marshmallow creme. This adds a fluffy, light texture to the fudge and gives it that irresistible creaminess. Next, I add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Vanilla enhances the overall flavor, balancing the sweetness and giving the fudge a warm, rich undertone. Finally, we're going to add that festive secret ingredient, half a teaspoon of rum extract. This little addition brings a subtle holiday flavor that takes the fudge to the next level. It's like adding a dash of holiday magic to the mix. At this point, I always feel like a bit of a mad scientist in the kitchen, adding the finishing touches to what's shaping up to be the perfect holiday treat. As the ingredients meld together, I stir them with my silicone spatula until everything is smooth and creamy. The key is to keep stirring to ensure everything melts evenly and no lumps form. It's amazing to watch the ingredients transform into a glossy fudge base. And the silicone spatula makes sure nothing sticks to the sides or bottom of the bowl. I hope you're having as much fun making this eggnog fudge as I am. If you're enjoying this recipe, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and tap the bell so you don't miss out on more holiday treats. Have you tried making eggnog fudge before? How did it turn out? Got any tips or tricks you'd like to share? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for hanging out with me. Let's get back to finishing up these delicious fudge squares. While the fudge is turning smooth and glossy, it's time to prep the pan. I always recommend using an 8x8 cheesecake pan for making fudge. The square edges give you those clean, even slices, and it's easy to work with. If you don't have one, a regular baking dish works too, but the cheesecake pan is my personal favorite. Now grab some parchment paper. Personally, I prefer to use pre-cut parchment paper sheets instead of a roll. It's just so much more convenient. You don't have to wrestle with a roll or worry about cutting uneven pieces, and the sheets are perfectly sized, which saves time. Just fold the corners in and gently push the paper into the pan. It's almost like wrapping a present, but a lot more satisfying. Doing this will give you smooth edges when your fudge is ready to slice. The parchment paper isn't just for looks. It's essential for making the process easy. Once the fudge has set, you can simply lift it out of the pan by holding the paper, making everything mess-free. Plus, it keeps the fudge from sticking to the pan, which saves you a lot of hassle when you're ready to cut it. And if you're wondering about the best pans for making fudge, I've got a whole video where I break down the pros and cons of different types of pans. Trust me, having the right pan makes a world of difference in getting those perfect slices. Clean edges and easy cutting make the final result look extra professional. Now, pour the fudge mixture into the pan. Make sure to spread it out evenly with a spatula so that the surface is nice and smooth. This will help ensure that every piece looks perfect when you cut it. Next, it's time for the magic touch. Sift a teaspoon of ground nutmeg over the top of the fudge. This little sprinkle of nutmeg adds a layer of holiday flavor and gives the fudge an extra festive feel. Finally, give the pan a gentle tap on the counter to help the nutmeg settle into the fudge. This also helps remove any air bubbles, ensuring the surface stays smooth and flawless. Just like that, you've infused a little extra holiday cheer into every bite, while making sure your fudge has a perfect, even texture. Pop the pan in the fridge for at least 2 hours. Overnight is even better if you can resist the temptation. While the fudge is chilling, take a moment to congratulate yourself for creating what is about to be your new holiday obsession. First, remove the fudge from the fridge. It should be fully set and firm to the touch, making it ready for cutting. Next, grab a large cutting board. This will give you plenty of space to work and ensure that you have a stable, clean surface for cutting the fudge into even squares. Carefully remove the fudge from the pan by gently peeling away the parchment paper. The overhang edges of the parchment chain make this step easy, and the fudge should lift out in one solid block, ready for cutting. Now it's time to get your other tools ready. You'll need a large kitchen knife for making clean, sharp cuts. If you want perfectly even pieces, a pastry cutter is great for scoring the fudge before you slice. Keep a wet kitchen towel nearby to wipe the knife after each cut. This will keep the edges smooth and prevent the fudge from sticking. Lastly, don't forget to wear disposable vinyl gloves to keep everything clean and to avoid leaving fingerprints on your beautifully set fudge. To score the fudge evenly, I like to use my 5-wheel dough cutter. This tool makes it easy to create perfectly even squares without having to eyeball the measurements. I start by gently pressing the dough cutter into the surface of the fudge, applying just enough pressure to mark the lines without cutting all the way through. First, I score the fudge vertically, then turn it 90 degrees and score it horizontally. This creates a grid of even squares that will guide my cuts when I start slicing with the knife. If you don't have a 5-wheel dough cutter, don't worry. I've got a video that shows how to cut fudge into perfect squares without it, using just a knife and a few simple tips. Check it out, and you'll still be able to achieve those clean, professional-looking pieces. Once the fudge is scored, it's time to start cutting. I grab my large kitchen knife and begin by carefully cutting along the scored vertical lines. I use a smooth, steady motion to ensure each cut is clean and sharp. After every slice, I wipe the knife with a wet kitchen towel to keep the blade clean and prevent the fudge from sticking, which helps create neat edges. As I cut, I gently push the already cut pieces back together to keep them aligned and even. After finishing the vertical cuts, I turn the fudge 90 degrees and start cutting along the horizontal lines. Wiping the knife after each slice ensures those smooth, perfect squares, making the fudge look neat and ready for serving or gifting. And there you have it, perfect squares of rich, creamy eggnog fudge that are just begging to be devoured. These little bites of holiday goodness are ideal for just about any occasion. You can serve them at your next holiday party, impressing guests with how neat and professional they look. Or, if you're feeling generous, they make the perfect homemade gifts, wrapped up beautifully in festive packaging. Trust me, friends and family will love receiving these thoughtful treats. And hey, if you want to keep a stash for yourself, I don't blame you. You can always tuck them away in the back of the fridge for those late night cravings. No judgment here, I've definitely been there. If you're curious about how to package fudge for gifting, be sure to check out my next video where I show you how to wrap these delicious squares in the cutest holiday packaging. If you try this recipe, let me know how it turns out. And don't forget to savor each piece slowly, if you can. Spoiler alert, you probably can't. Thanks for watching and happy fudge making.